Welcome to White Shadows. Today I am going to tell you about the horrifying incidents happen on movie sets, which will tell you that you should not mess around with the things you don't know about. So let's dive into it. The 2012 film The Possession is a unique horror story that incorporates elements of Judaism, rabbis, and a cursed Dybbuk box that attaches to a young girl. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, one of the film's stars, is familiar with paranormal roles, having played a father on the TV series Supernatural. However, his experience on the set of The Possession left him deeply unsettled. Several strange occurrences took place during filming, including unexplained light explosions and cold drafts sweeping through sealed sets for no clear reason. The most disturbing event, however, was when the storage facility housing the film's props caught fire and was completely destroyed. Investigators determined that the fire couldn't be traced back to arson or an electrical malfunction. The cause was ultimately deemed undetermined. Notably, the Dybbuk box featured in the film was destroyed in the blaze, and the cast and crew refused to allow a replacement, fearing it was cursed. The Conjuring is a film based on the true story of the Perron family, who encountered unexplained paranormal activity in their Rhode Island home during the 1970s. Several family members visited the movie set during filming, but Carolyn Perron, the mother, refused to go near it, and for good reason. The production was plagued by a series of strange and unexplained events. One day, while the Perron family was on set, a strong wind suddenly picked up and seemed to swirl around them, even though the trees directly in front of them remained still. Things grew even stranger a few days later when the hotel where the cast and crew were staying caught fire, forcing an evacuation. Director James, one recalls, working late one night when his dog began growling at something invisible. Despite searching, he couldn't find anything that would explain the dog's behavior. But the growling persisted as the dog focused on an unseen presence across the room. Vera Farmiga, who portrayed a paranormal investigator in the film, was so unsettled by the script that she refused to take it home. She felt a deep unease when trying to read it at night, often becoming paralyzed by fear. On one occasion, she opened her laptop only to find 3 scratch marks across the screen, as if a creature had dragged its claws across it. Disturbing, to say the least. The events on the set of the 1979 film The Amityville Horror were nearly as eerie as the real-life haunting the movie was based on. Starring James Brolin and Margot Kidder, the film was inspired by a true story. Brolin initially had reservations about taking the role, but agreed after experiencing something strange. While reading the script one morning and reaching a particularly frightening part of the story, Brolin's pants suddenly fell off the hanger, causing him to jump out of his chair in shock. In 2005, the film was remade with Ryan Reynolds in the role originally played by Brolin. Just before filming began, a dead body washed up near the movie set. Throughout the production, Reynolds and other cast and crew members began waking up every morning at exactly 3:15 a.m., the same time the real-life murders occurred during the actual Amityville Horror events. The Exorcist, widely regarded as one of the most iconic horror films of all time and a landmark movie of the 1970s, is famously associated with a curse. The set was plagued by a series of unsettling events, including the unexpected death of Irish actor Jack McGoran, who played Burke Dennings, just days after completing his scenes. Additionally, a special effects worker and a security guard also died during the production. To make matters worse, the entire set was destroyed in a mysterious fire, requiring it to be rebuilt. In response to the eerie occurrences, director William Friedkin brought a priest to perform a real-life exorcism on the set. However, the ritual seemed to have little effect on the curse, which seemed to extend beyond the set itself. When the film was released, several audience members suffered heart attacks while watching it in theaters. The production of the 1968 classic Rosemary's Baby took a dark turn once filming began. During the shoot, famed horror producer William Castle received an anonymous letter threatening that he would slowly rot during a long and painful illness. Soon after, castle collapsed and required surgery to address a health issue that would trouble him for months. But the strange events didn't stop there. Christoph Komeda, who composed the film's haunting score, tragically died from a brain hematoma after falling from a cliff. The production was also marked by food poisoning that affected the entire cast, and one of the movie's producers suffered a stroke while driving home from the set. Psycho terrified audiences when it was released in 1960, but an event on the film set was even more shocking than what appeared on screen. During production, Myra Jones, an uncredited body double for Janet Leigh, was murdered on set. The killer was Kenneth Dean Hunt, a handyman working on the film, who confessed to the crime, claiming he did it to impress director Alfred Hitchcock. Hunt stated he was obsessed with the legendary director. In the wake of the murder, Hitchcock gathered the cast and crew and calmly said, "It appears we now have all the motivation we need to complete this film." Jennifer Carpenter, known for her role in Dexter, shared a chilling experience from the making of the 2005 film The Exorcism of Emily Rose. She reported that the radio in her hotel room would mysteriously turn on and off, and each time it played the Pearl Jam song Alive. Other cast members also experienced similar strange occurrences, with their radios and TVs turning on by themselves, often playing the same song. Disturbed by these eerie incidents, the cast and crew eventually had the radios removed from their hotel rooms. Creepy, to say the least. Vic Morrow, the late father of actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, tragically died on the set of the 1983 film The Twilight Zone. What makes this incident even more unsettling is that Morrow had predicted his own death. A year before filming began, Morrow took out a $5 million life insurance policy on himself and confided to friends and family that he had a premonition something terrible would happen to him during an upcoming movie. True to his forewarning, while filming a scene for The Twilight Zone, the movie, a helicopter crashed, decapitating Morrow. 2 child actors were also killed in the accident, which led to a lengthy investigation and court case. It was discovered that the 2 Vietnamese children who died had been hired illegally by the producers. Furthermore, it was revealed in court that the movie's concept artist had drawn a helicopter crashed in the middle of a river, eerily foreshadowing the tragedy. The cast of the 1982 film Poltergeist experienced a series of tragic and unsettling events. Both Heather O'Rourke, who portrayed young Carol Ann, and Dominique Dunn, who played her older sister Dana, died while still involved with the franchise. O'Rourke passed away on the operating table at just 12 years old while working on the sequel Poltergeist 3. Dunn was murdered by her ex-boyfriend just 1 day after the first film premiered. Today, both actresses are buried in the same California cemetery. The cast and crew were so disturbed by these events that producer Will Sampson, feeling the set was evil, had the set of Poltergeist 2, the other side, exorcised before filming began. Tragically, Sampson himself passed away following surgery shortly after the film's completion. The Omen is a horror classic and one of the most influential films of the 1970s. But the making of the movie was nearly derailed by a series of tragic events that led many to believe it was cursed. The story of Damien, the Antichrist, seemed to be mirrored by the misfortunes that plagued the production. Among the tragedies were the suicide of lead actor Gregory Peck's son, just as filming began, a crew member being seriously injured in a car accident on the way to the set, and the scriptwriter's plane being struck by lightning en route to the location. To make matters worse, Peck and the film's executive producer were also in a plane that was struck by lightning during a separate incident. However, the worst tragedy struck when the crew decided to use a private plane to travel between locations. Shortly after takeoff, something went wrong and the plane crashed onto a road, hitting a car that then collided with another vehicle at high speed. All 11 people involved in the accident were killed. Given these horrifying events, Peck refused to participate in any promotional activities for The Omen before its theatrical release. At last, share with us your favorite horror movies, series, or any chilling experiences you've had, or that your friends or family have gone through. We'd love to feature them here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. We're covering all kinds of terrifying stories.